Oh my God, what's up, guys? And what's up, Sussex Squad? Listen, we have a mystery upon us. It involves, of course, Meghan, Harry, Kim, and Kris. And baby, we got to get into this because something is going on. And at the end of the day, I think I know what it is, okay? Now listen, Kim and Kris have officially deleted their photos from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And the internet's talking about it. And let me tell you something. I think we can agree something is going on behind that delete button. You don't just delete pictures, especially from Chris's coronation as a media mogul. She was proud. She was proud of what she accomplished. We'll talk about that later. So you don't just do that. And seeing Meghan and Harry both in pictures, hugged up on them, baby, this was a get of epic proportions, or was it? Because the internet immediately started screaming jealousy. But that's giving this too much credit. I don't think this is about jealousy, Sussex Squad. I think this is ambition wearing a fascinator hat. You know the things they wear in London. Listen, think about it. Kim has always wanted to be a royal. Always. Not in Flora for famous, not Met Gala famous, but palace balcony famous. I think Kim wants to wave at the peasants from the window. This woman still believes she could have married Prince Harry if she had just met him before the Suits syndication deal. Again, I know you guys are like, Tisa, you putting too much on 10. Sussex Squad. Remember when she flew out to London? I think it was during the Queen's Jubilee or something. And when they flew to London because she thought she'd get an invite to the Queen's Jubilee, and Daily Mail and all these places said they had on good authority that her people were pushing for an invite. She thought the reason she wasn't getting invited was because of Kanye. And now that she ditched Kanye, she thought she was going to take a scrubby-looking, self-professed, active drug addict to go to the Jubilee. Again, let's give her credit for audacity where audacity is due. But listen, you guys, all right? I do remember when that happened. She packed all her couture for the Jubilee or whatever that she wasn't even on the guest list for. She landed, realized that the Windsors don't do +1s from Hulu, and was back on that plane before the tea got cold. Now listen, I'm not going to applaud that because, like, at the end of the day, you know how I feel about the royals, and if you don't, they're trash. They are trash. But that doesn't mean that Kim's not going to try to get there. Kim is doing her best interpretation of can we say that? A far-right alt Barbie that she can. She's literally in competition every week with Sydney Sweeney, trying to see if she can, like, persuade the hearts and minds of, like, some of the... Anyway, let's move on. This isn't about... Let's move on. Okay, so listen. Getting back to what I was actually saying, okay? So she really thought that she was going to go out there, and she thought she was going to get invited. And that didn't happen. All right. She was back on the plane before she could just say, Pete's over. And the humiliation, I believe, scarred her soul. Again, Kim thought that was her ascension moment. The Kardashians love having ascension moments. Everybody's been calling them tacky, people with prostitute hearts, the heart of a prostitute. Like, this was something really, really big. Okay. So, again, that humiliation scarred her. And since then, Kim has been in a one-sided rivalry, at least secret, with Meghan Markle that a lot of people have been whispering about. Why? Because she feels like Meghan Markle's, of course, if Meghan Markle, who she's known briefly through Hollywood circles, could get Prince Harry's eye, why can't she? Kim thinks she's sexier. Kim thinks she's better. Kim thinks she's everything. But listen to this, right? I don't know. She has wanted to be Meghan, or does she think she's better than Meghan? You know? The Kim, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a circle she hangs out with or whatever, she somehow doesn't think that her tape is that big a deal. And listen, it's not up to me to decide whether it is a big deal or not. I just know that it's not as little as a deal as she would lead us to believe. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Anyway, right? So let's get back into this. It's just not as little as a deal as she wants us to think, all right? So listen, let's be real. How do I put this? Listen, I think that Meghan actually got the storyline Kim wanted. A girl from Hollywood, hated by the press, marries into power, becomes the main character of international gossip. Because don't forget, Kim likes gossip, good, bad, or indifferent. Kim loves it. She can't get enough. Okay. She thought again. She's from Hollywood. Really? Hated by the press. Okay. She wanted to marry into power. She also thinks that she should become the main character of international gossip. Kim wanted the crown and got Skims shapewear at Selfridge. Meghan got the palace trauma arc. True, it was very, very hurtful. But Kim doesn't care. All she cares about is fame. Kim got the shapewear empire. Again, you could argue it's a different type of oppression, or at least Kim argues it's a different type of oppression. So when Kim and Kris showed up at Jeff Bezos' billionaire bash, right, next to Meghan and Harry, it was the perfect IG moment, guys. The caption practically wrote itself: American royalty meets British royalty. But then the photos disappeared. They were wiped. They were erased. They weren't archived. They were deleted. And that's when all this royalty actually started boiling over. Because think about it. There's a few theories floating around. Actually, let me walk you through the theories that I have, all right? And in Sussex Squad, let me know if you think any of these theories actually match. Because I'm telling you, there's something there that we can't ignore. All right, so theory one. Kim deleted Meghan's pictures because she's jealous. Kim has a history of re-editing reality until she wins. She once cropped her own child out of a photo because the lighting wasn't flattering. Why wouldn't she crop out Meghan? Meghan does have natural beauty. But here's the thing, I think my theory two is better. Kim and Kris deleted those photos to look closer to the crown, not farther from it. Hear me out. I think they want the royal family to see them as social equals, not fangirls. And to do that, they need to distance themselves from Meghan, the woman the palace sees as a rebellion, the American infection, the Oprah interview incarnate. And the funny thing is, the royals used to love, let's not forget, the royals used to love Oprah down. And when I say down, I mean down. And the fact that even now, after Oprah was seen being friendly with Meghan, they want to act like she's the devil incarnate. Yeah, I think they actually learned their lesson. And they're just like, oh, no. They think they've got word of the feedback. And I think they think that Meghan is like radioactive. You know what I'm saying? Again, I think this is a very viable thing. They are social climbers. They got word. They are fair weather friends. If they were friends and they wanted to quickly distance themselves because they saw what the media in the UK did to Oprah and they don't want that to happen. So get this. I don't think that Kim actually hates Meghan. I think she just wants what Meghan married into. You know what I'm saying? The tiara, the curtsy, the centuries of inherited hypocrisy. To her, that's aspirational, not just wealth, but power. The Kardashians don't just sell lipstick anymore. They sell proximity to legitimacy. And Kris Jenner, I think Kris is actually fully in on it. She's treating this like foreign policy. Kris runs her daughters like a G7 summit. Kim, you handle the fashion diplomacy badly. Khloe, you deal with middle America because there has to be a bunch of down bad women. Kylie, secure the next generation of rich men. Kourtney, okay, we'll just circle back. I think deleting Meghan was a PR maneuver, an act of royal diplomacy. Because while Silicon Valley billionaires may have accepted the Kardashians, right? And Harry and Meghan, the British nobles, the British rich people, right? They still act like they are 100% allergic, okay? The old money crowd treats reality stars like off-brand nobility. And don't forget, in the UK, unlike in America, you cannot buy your way into circles in the UK. You can be broke and have good blood, and you will go further than someone that is like a Jeff Bezos. Do you see what I'm saying? And Kris knows that if they want invites to Baltimore or even a polite head nod from Princess Anne, they have to appear respectable. Also, I think Kris is making a power move, because think about it. William covets everything Harry has. Every time Harry's next to people, William tries to get them at the palace the next week. I think the Kardashians looked at that, and Kris was like, yo, if we play our cards right, we could be at the palace in the next week. Or William or Kate might show up at next year's Baby to Baby Gala. Again, I think this is making perfect sense, you know? But here's a hilarious twist. That delete might not have been their idea at all. This is my third theory, and I think it's a good one. Sources are whispering that Meghan and Harry's team wanted those pictures taken down. And honestly, again, this makes sense. But again, if Harry and Meghan were the ones that requested them taken down, I think Kris decided to spin this and be like, yo, we can get everything we ever wanted out of these people. Let's go for it. Because for Harry and Meghan, every public association is a political act. It's not only a political act, but let's not forget that Lord Voldemort will do everything in his power to make sure that he can destroy any relationship that Harry, Meghan, or anybody close to them has. Again, I think Kris is paying this right. All right, because for Meghan and Harry, every association means something. They spent years literally trying to claw back from the hell that the royals put them into. And after that royal fallout, the Netflix documentary, that Spotify mess, and the endless headlines about brand Sussex, I think the last thing they need is a picture next to the Kardashians, a family that British press already sees as proof that America has no dignity left. Again, I think it's likely that Meghan's team probably looked at that photo and said, absolutely not. We just convinced the Times of London to stop calling Meghan a reality star, delete the evidence before Piers Morgan wakes up. And that's the irony. The Kardashians are trying to climb up the royal ladder, while Meghan and Harry are still trying to escape it. One side's dying to get knighted, the other's still traumatized by palace protocol. So the photo had to go, I think, for everybody's protection. For Kim, I think it's about appearing aristocratic. For Meghan, I think it's about appearing respectable. And for the rest of us, well, I don't know. It's entertainment. But let's call it what it is. Damage control disguised as diplomacy. Kim wants to prove that she can stand next to billionaires, tech lords, and literal royalty without looking out of place. And Kris wants to prove that her empire is still relevant in rooms where money isn't loud. Oh, where money isn't loud. That scared me. It whispers through generational trust funds. I think deleting Meghan to the picture makes them look elevated. I think they think that. But it actually reminds everyone that no matter how rich the Kardashians get, they're still auditioning for acceptance. They're global influencers playing royal dress up, desperate for validation from people who still think working is below me. Meanwhile, Meghan and Harry are probably relieved. They don't want to share a grid with women who's monetized every part of their body except for empathy. Meghan might be criticized for oversharing, but at least she didn't build a billion-dollar business selling couture kits named after trauma of a tape that the sister had to literally clock in, you know? So I think with that picture's deleted, I think the only people that win are the Kardashians. Kim gets to pretend she's the Duchess of Calabasas. Kris gets to whisper in her, I hope, Your Majesty, into her rosé at night. And Meghan and Harry are just continuing to do Meghan and Harry. Again, if they did request it, I think it's a really, really good thing that they did. At the end of the day, again, you know how Hollywood is. It isn't about friendship or feud. It's about status management. Because in their mind, social hierarchy is the last religion standing. Kim wants the royal family's blessing, okay? And Kris wants the royal family to come closer, and both of them know that public image is the new divine right. And that's the comedy of it all. Everybody is literally trying to get something different out of it. But Kris and Kim are literally trying to curtsy to the algorithm. Again, you guys, listen, what do you guys think? Why do you think they deleted it? I think that's exactly why. I think Kris is hoping that the royal family will move closer to them if they show that they are not aligned with Meghan and Harry. And I think for a while they've been trying to get around that. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.